the live here. Okay, by the way, live.
Alright, I think everybody's waiting already anyway.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are live today. And today is our Living 96792 local business spotlight. And today we have one Mr. Dre.
Mr. Dre.
He'd like to consider himself a doctor of PCs. He can build them, he can fix them. And he can do a lot of stuff with gaming and all of that stuff too. But what we got is Dre here is from PC Island, which is today's episode of our local business spotlight. And first of all, Dre, for everybody who's watching who may not know you yet, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I moved here to Ireland right before COVID, and COVID got me stuck here, and it's kind of been the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's lovely. It's super awesome. I love the west side more than anything, but I really dig just the entire like aloha spirit, everything, how close everybody is, and just how vertical the land is in such a small place. It's great. Love it here, and I'm glad to be here.
So how long in total have you been part of the 96792 community?
Since 2019 July.
Cool.
Yeah, that's when I got here. I just came to help out a friend. We'd been friends for quite a bit of time, since like 3rd grade.
Cool.
So I came to help him watch his son while he went on a 3-month training mission, and then we never ended up having to do anything in that regard, and we just went hiking and exploring the island all summer, and came back, and now I have a girlfriend, a dog, and a lease.
That's cool. So what part of 96792 do you exactly live in?
Right now it's Nanakuli, but I did live in Makaha for the bigger half of that time frame.
Okay, cool.
Makaha definitely reminds me of home. Shout out to the 956. It's a very, very much the same type of feel, vibe, community, except much more Hispanic.
Cool. Did you always see yourself owning a business, or was it something that just happened along the way?
My dad was a business owner. He's pretty big in that area, so I kind of felt like I would eventually do that. I just didn't know when, and now that I'm here, I'm wondering why I didn't do it sooner.
Before we get into the business, what's something about you that people might be surprised to know?
I don't know how I look on camera, but I grew up with 2 sisters, so I'm pretty good at gymnastics.
Flexible.
I am. We won't talk about it anymore, though.
All right, so let's get down to business. Basically tell us about your business and what exactly you do.
So my business is PC Island. I build computers. I like to say I more often than not create a computer, just based on how I do everything. I like to put a theme. I like to make it very aesthetic. I like to keep it reasonably priced, or at least fairly priced, as much as I can given the current market. And all different types. I like to personalize them as much as possible. I'm centered more around gaming, but whatever you need, I can build it. I know we built one for your live streaming stuff set up too, which was pretty basic, but at the same time it gets the job done. And at the end of the day, that's all I want to do, is get the job done and make sure you got what you need.
Yeah. So Dre donated the computer to the Alma Jean Foundation that does events and stuff for the kids out on the west side, which there'll be an episode coming out on their impact for our spotlight. But let's see. I actually have a picture of one of Dre's computers. This is his Afterlife computer. So you can see it's
That was actually that's a bar in the game Cyberpunk Afterlife. So that's kind of what it was modeled. I don't know if I have a better picture, if I sent you a better picture of the front, but that one was the best picture that kind of got the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a whole cyberpunk theme, the outside, the inside. I actually 3D printed and created that light that says Afterlife down at the bottom there.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So that's a custom 3D printed light. Wow. This guy's talented. I like it. And then we have one more of his creations, which I was kind of amazed with as soon as it pops up. This one's got quite a bit of 3D printing going on the inside. But so he can basically build these computers, custom however you want it. You can theme it out anyway, or you can give him the creative freedom, tell him, well, hey, what do you want? And he'll go ahead and, design you a custom computer.
That one there was a request. So the theme is Gear 5 from One Piece. Anybody who watches One Piece will probably know what that means. But it was a personal request from somebody, and they gave me the creative freedom. They said, here, I want a medium to high personalization. And I tried to go minimalist, but you'll see the clouds, you'll see the tree, you'll see the characters from the One Piece down there at the bottom. And then I painted the entire case. You can't see as much purple on it, but it's got a whole purple white theme there. So I was given creative freedom for that one, and he was pretty happy with it.
Nice. So in regards to your business, what made you finally say, okay, I'm gonna do this? Like I know you were into gaming and kind of into the whole PC realm, but taking that leap and saying, hey, I'm going to turn this into a business. I know there's a market out there for people that want to do this. So what was that point where, that happened?
Not going to name any names, but, personally, the reason I started was because I upgraded my computer. And then with the extra parts, I said, let me just buy a bunch of new parts. I'll make a whole new computer and sell it. And instead of just selling everything or losing little bit of money, I can break even. And then while I was shopping around in the local area, Best Buy, I think PC Gamers Hawaii, just people selling on Marketplace, I noticed that the prices for everything were just so off. People asking unreasonable prices and just scalping because some of the parts were hard to get at the time. I said, I can do that better. I can do it for so much cheaper. So my whole shtick has been keep it pretty much whatever you're going to pay at retail to build it yourself and sell it. And the way I make my money back is through cashback, combo deals, stuff like that. And so I was just thinking, the local competition is my competition, and I just kind of want to do that better. I want to help the community and let everybody be able to afford it, because it's just been, even more so lately, just unaffordable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so oftentimes when people see these types of computers, they think of only gaming, but in actuality a lot of people use it for exactly what we're doing today, for streaming. So they can actually stream regular content, whether it be using the different softwares that's available, or actually streaming their gaming. And some people actually make a living doing it. So I know having a higher quality computer, like a custom computer versus something you get at, say, Costco or Best Buy, it really can not only save you some money, but ultimately, because it's supporting local, right, by buying it from you and the labor is going towards you versus like a big box store. And then you can get a lot more, like the photos we see, a lot more customized look, especially if you're going to be spending some decent amount of money on a computer. You might as well get something that's exactly what you want, or a lot closer than what comes factory from like a big box store.
That computer right there specifically, the guy is using it for 3D modeling. He's not even going to do any gaming on it.
Okay.
And what he spent on it was $1,100. And I'd say it's pretty capable of anything you want to do as far as gaming and modeling and streaming, just office work, etc. So yeah, and getting something that custom for $1,100 is pretty difficult, but I try my best to keep it in that area as well.
So in regards to like say inflation, what would something like this run us now versus when you built that?
That was actually sold like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So that's fairly recent. Right now, I would say if you can find the hardware, you can build it for pretty much the same price.
Okay.
It's difficult, but I used some older generation parts and some newer generation parts. They were all new, but you know, it was still, the reason I went for it was I did like higher capacity RAM so that he could have the 3D modeling and stuff like that, but he's got the new processor, which is a 14th gen processor and a current generation RTX 50 series card, so that he had the capability of going higher and doing more, but at a cheaper price.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So not only is it for gaming and for streaming, you can actually use it for anything that's graphic intensive. So if you're a graphic illustrator using like software like Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop, having these higher specs just makes the workflow exactly that. It actually flows. Like you're not waiting for things to render on screen and all that. And that's ultimately what these computers are built for, is rendering at a fast pace, or what they call frames per second, right? So the more expensive chips allow you to render things way more quicker, especially with 3D modeling. Say for instance like softwares like Blender, right? Or which Blender is an open source 3D modeling software that you can make cartoons and videos, and you can pretty much make a whole movie using just Blender. So these types of computers apply to more than just quote unquote nerds or geeks, right? It helps your workflow, even doing regular tasks too, like running numbers. So the graphics chips actually do computation super fast. It's actually what's found inside of a lot of the mining equipment. So mining equipment like Bitcoin, there's so many other fiat currencies right now that are available, and these graphic chips are exactly what are used, GPUs, because they can process data super quickly. So any kind of processing intense program that you use or need, even just editing videos and stuff, having a higher tier PC, for most people, that they know that anybody doing that kind of stuff. But if you're interested in getting into that realm, definitely reach out to Dre for custom PC. So behind the scenes, what's your favorite part of building custom computers? In fact, I'll pull up your other computer that's on here. That's pretty amazing because it's got like a whole stained glass theme. So as soon as that pops up, there it is, the stained glass effect on it, and that's pretty cool.
That right there is something that the case itself was already pre-made, the glass, everything. However, I am currently in the process of trying to mimic that exact thing and create custom stained glass, like tempered glass panels. Getting it right has been difficult, but it's still pretty cool, and I'd say that is kind of my favorite part of building, at least lately. Initially it was the building and trying to make sure everything looks good and works well, but lately it's been how much more can I do, how much more can I make it customized, and how much more can I stand out from literally everybody else, personalizing it, just customization in general, and doing things that people don't generally do, or that people do and charge just an excessive amount of money for. Not everybody has the money for that, but everybody wants something that they really like and love and can be proud of. And I would consider these computers kind of art, so it's I'm not a very good artist in general, but that's my art right there, just creating something that looks good and runs well and people just really like.
So this is another one of your builds, and it's very simplistic, but it's want to use the word sexy. It's exactly that. It's sexy, right? It's simple. It's got a basic, 2-3 colors in there: the red, black, and white. And I say sexy because that's the actual color of my personal business. High Made is those exact colors: red, black, and white. And red is the color of passion, right? So I was drawn to this when I saw that, and I was like, I had to say that. But something as simple as this, which I say simple, but I'm noticing that there's liquid cooled equipment in there. So that fan is actually looks like it's being cooled by liquid. Is that correct?
That is correct. Now, that's an all-in-one liquid cooler. It's something you could buy off the shelf and install pretty easily. But actually, what I think is really interesting about this case specifically, and this build specifically, is that instead of the normal airflow where you have fans in the front and it pushes through the back and stuff like that, this is set up differently. So you've got the GPU, the GPU has the fans and is acting as the intake.
Oh, wow.
So then it's split right there with the motherboard. Half of the air is going through the front and a majority of it is actually going through the back, where you have fans on the rear pushing the air out. That's where the radiator sits and everything. But you've also got that fan on the back end that pulls air out as well. And it was a very unique case, and I when I saw that it released, I had to build in it, because I thought that the idea behind it was, you don't need as many fans, let's use your parts that you're going to put in there anyway to do the job for you, know. And that's why I chose it. But it doesn't seem to be a very popular case. However, I really like that build. Lee & Lee is the case manufacturer, and they've been really big in the industry lately, trying different things. A lot of people are copying what they do with PC cases.
It's hard to understand the scale, but if you look on the bottom, there's a USB port, so you kind of know what that size of that is. So that GPU is monster. That thing is a monster. And the amount of equipment that he fit in there is actually quite impressive. And it was to the point where he had to actually put the equipment on the outside because, keeping it looking sexy and not having everything breathing down each other's throat, ended up turning out really nice. It's a really sleek looking computer there. So what do you love most about this community? You've been here, you've been in Makaha, you've been in Nanakuli, particularly Helilua, which you're out of. What do you love most about the 96792 community?
Personally, how much it feels like home. I grew up for a long time. I was growing up in Indiana, my early years, and I kind of didn't know where I fit in. As I like to say, and as it kind of just is, it's filled with white people in cornfields. And while I've experienced, a lot of different things out there, and I still really like it out there, I didn't find my place as far as where I fit in until I moved to Texas. And that's when I found, a group of friends that I really fit in with, that made me feel like, you can be yourself. And I started skateboarding, and I found a community, and really just, it did a lot for how I was as a human being. And that was like at 16. So when I came over here and I felt that same kind of vibe, very homely, friendly, welcoming and helpful, it was just like, all right, it really stuck out, really felt great. And, I think the West Side gets a lot of flack from town, but the West Side is truly the best side, for sure. The
Amen.
Beaches, the community, the food, everything. I think it's great. I really love it out here.
So funny story, that whole conversation just made me remember how we met, how me and Dre met. So he was actually visiting one of our local restaurants, which I'm a partner for, is the Lilikoi Lounge up in Makaha Country Club. So he's having a conversation. He was there with a friend that he helped finish his computer as well. And I overheard him say, "I'm a big nerd." And you don't hear that often in 96792.
Especially not at a bar.
Yeah, especially not at a bar. That was kind of like oxymoronic, right? He's like a nerd at a bar. But so it was kind of funny when he said that. I kind of leaned over at the bar and I was like, how big of a nerd are you, right? And then he goes, oh, I build computers and blah blah blah. And you know what, ever since that day, I literally said, my server sat there and she looked and she's like, he found his people. And that's exactly how it is. You know what, you know, doing tech and stuff and being in the middle of the ocean and being so far away from other people that do it, especially out in 96792. We have a pretty decent community out in town, but you know, out on the west side, it's been difficult to kind of find others who have the similar interests in regards to technology and you know, gaming and computing and all of that kind of stuff. So it was a breath of fresh air, so to speak, you know, meeting Dre. And we've been doing a lot of different projects together. He's been helping me learning live streaming. I actually told him, I said, hey, you wanna learn how to do some live streaming and you know, 3-camera mixing and all that kind of stuff. He said, yeah, I'm down. So we've been doing some projects together. So it was cool. It was a real pleasure to meet Dre, as well as his friend. What was your name? What was his name?
You know, that was his name was Kahiki. Also, yeah. Right? So he's not been around for a bit. He's kind of feeling some type of way, and he's been having trouble also finding his place out here. It's been very difficult, you know, for people who do that around here. Like, everybody's been hiding. Yeah. Everybody's been hiding. All the nerds, you know. To be fair, I think you're the bigger nerd here. I felt very out of place when you started talking, okay? And you've been doing all the work with the projects. I've just been staring like, what can I help you with, sir? You know? So, you know, yeah, you know, you're the one doing all the work here, man. You've been the bigger nerd. You've been very insightful and helpful and knowledgeable about all this stuff. It's kind of hard to keep up with you.
Yeah. But with that being said, if you're in the 96792 and you are into this kind of stuff and you'd like to learn more, I'm down to teach. You know, and so is Dre. You know, if you'd like to learn how to build computers, whatever, and stuff like that, we can make something happen. We can utilize the spaces that we have here. We have the tavern here at Lanterns Restaurant and Tavern, which thankfully are hosting us today. We're in the tavern area. And we have spaces that we can utilize to teach. In fact, I met with a program that was part of Hui Huliao. They have a facility for teaching networking and different computer stuff too. So we have that available too. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. You can DM me at living96792. Dre has PC Island on YouTube, PC Island Gaming. You can follow his channel. He does different benchmarking videos, which basically tells you how fast your stuff is that you can brag to other people about who know this kind of stuff. And then he also does different builds and things on there. And he's also on Facebook, is that correct?
Yeah, so PC Island Facebook page as well. I've got a couple things lined up as far as the YouTube, and I really need to keep up with social media, but social media has just been kind of a drain on my mental faculties, and it's just harder keeping up with social media, but than it is with you, you know. So, but I've definitely got plenty of pictures and stuff, and I need to start scheduling posts on there, and I typically shout it out on the YouTube, and as well on Facebook I'll shout out the YouTube channel with any pictures or videos that's going on. I recently got some interesting hardware, the Steam machine, so I was able to pick that up, and I've got some comparisons coming up with another machine that I built personally to compete with it, that I think anybody who's understanding the actual technology is going to be very interested to see, and the results will probably not be what they think it will be.
Cool. So, rapid fire question.
Oh, oof.
Local plate lunch or fast food?
Local plate lunch. Local plate lunch for sure.
Cool. And I know one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, is there any business in particular that you feel would be a great fit for being on our podcast?
You know, right downstairs, Taste Buds. Though I still can't get those sushi tacos out of my head, and I've been spending so much time in town that I regret not being out here more for work that I can eat them for lunch. So I've been going to like ABC stores to grab a lunch real quick because I've just been on the move and on the go for my other job that, you know, that pays the bills, and I really wish I could get more of the Taste Buds sushi tacos. The spicy ahi was so good.
All
so
right.
so good.
So, Angelo, we're gonna have you on next. Taste Buds Sushi Tacos. So, in closing, what's the best way for people to find you or get in contact with you?
If you're looking on Facebook Marketplace for a computer, you'll see me. I typically have something up. My pictures stand out quite a bit, as you can see on screen. I try to, keep them very aesthetic and pop. They're very unique builds most of the time, and they're reasonably priced, so you'll probably see it often. I've got 4.9 stars. The one rating holding me back is from like 2016 and has nothing to do with computers, but I've got very good reviews on there, so you'll see it if you do a little probing. However, PC Island Facebook page would be really quick to get a hold of me. I do have a work number, a personal PC Island number that you can find on the Facebook page and contact me if you need to get in contact with me quickly. Any repairs, I work on a you bring it to me and pay what you want basis, unless I have to, buy parts, or it takes, some real surgery to get it taken care of, that, I'll give you a charge, but I don't charge much, or I try not to charge at all if possible.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, so, if you have a PC currently and it's not working right, he does do PC repair services too, and it's all based on his availability. Like he mentioned, you can't really live in Hawaii and only have one job. And, just like me, I'm doing this on the side, trying to get the word out about our different entrepreneurs in our community. And we really appreciate your support, tuning in, watching us live, and watching our video spotlights, different programs that we have. We have the a weekly update, which we do at Friday at 8 a.m. Also, the business spotlight. We're also going to have a Impact 96792, which is a spotlight on nonprofits doing work in our community. So that's going to be coming up. If you aren't already subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page. That way I can start streaming live to Facebook as well. Follow us on Instagram, share us as much as possible. The more followers we have, the more the word of our local businesses like PC Island gets out there. So you don't have to travel far. You don't have to go to town to get a custom PC. You don't have to go to big box stores to get a custom PC. That's literally kind of oxymoronic. Custom PC from a big box store. They have stuff in there, but somebody else has it too. So if you've got the finances and you want something that'll really do what you want, and you want it to look a certain way, definitely hit up Dre. And I'll put his contact information in the description of the YouTube, and it'll be available on his Facebook page as well. So on behalf of PC Island, Dre, and Living 96792, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And if you have any comments or feedback, please feel free to put it in the comment section of our YouTube channel, or DM me at Living 96792. If you'd like to be a business on our podcast as well, DM me on Living 96792, and we'll get you set up on schedule. We'll try to do it outside of Lantern's operating hours, so we'll work together to figure out a time that works for you. So thank you so much for watching, and aloha.